folks, it's Amy from Colorado Mountain Living. We are finally getting our nice weather. Woo! It's awesome right now. I've got gloves on because I'm going to be doing some work outside. So now that the snow's melted, we've got all kinds of buried treasures to take care of. Our main goal for this week and weekend is cleaning up the yard and delivering a big bunch of trash to the dump. So behind me you can see all of our construction garbage, lots of lumber, lots of just garbage bags of things, tarps, things I need to just get rid of. Luckily in our county we get one token a year and we can bring up to 6 cubic yards of trash to the dump for free. So that really helps us contain like the amount of trash that we produce, not from construction, but I think that's a really great system for them to use, because otherwise we're paying a couple dollars to bring a big bag of trash. That helps you kind of be more mindful about how much trash you're creating. We try not to go more than once or twice a month to the dump to bring a load. But I've already been doing a lot of work all week long, moving a lot of our brush piles, a lot of logs that Brian's cut up, a lot of dead trees, just moving things out of the way, getting rid of the lumber pile. I moved a lot of the lumber already that's usable, stacked it neatly out of the way of the house, kind of really towards the back edge of the property. I'll kind of show you what that looks like right now. I've just been doing a lot of work on the tractor. Brian's done some work on the tractor with just to resurface the driveway a little bit. So we've just been doing some outside work and taking advantage of this nice weather. Because, sometimes you'll get the weather where it's a little bit too cool to be outside and really, really windy. That was yesterday. So, and I got a bee following me right now. So that's a great sign. I'm going to check on the beehives today too. So, going to get to it, guys. I'm going to start taking the trash and loading up the trailer, because tomorrow we've got plans to take this trailer to the dump and get rid of all of our major garbage as much as we can for free. All right, guys, I got to get to work. So the first thing I'm doing is making some makeshift sides for the trailer. We don't have any sides for it, so I'm just throwing in some 2x3s in the slots and then screwing some of this scrap plywood OSB board to the sides to kind of give some height to the trailer. And just so everybody knows, this is not any kind of permanent setup for making walls on the trailer. We actually had walls before that Brian had made, and they were made out of plywood, so of course they didn't really last for a year, being outside and everything. So we needed something taller for this particular trip so we could get all of our garbage in one load instead of taking multiple trips. Because a lot of times they'll say, oh, you can come back and bring some more, but if we could get our 6 cubic feet going vertical, then that's just going to be one trip to the dump. And so that's why I'm going vertical, and probably won't even really need to worry about stuff falling out because it'll be so much garbage by the time we're done. Okay, now I can start loading it up. At least I got something to kind of contain the masses of lumber and trash bags and stuff. I could put some crossbars on in a little while, but should be good enough to get our stuff to the dump. Garbage, huh?
Yeah. Drive it down the road.
It's kind of a makeshift makeshift sides, but
put a couple more pieces up front.
Yeah. Oh, good.
You had some the better ones over there.
Well, I left those because I didn't know if you wanted to keep them.
Yeah.
Yeah, those bags were kind of heavy. I couldn't really hoist them into the back. Huh? The bags were kind of heavy, so I couldn't really hoist them up into the back.
Oh, yeah.
It's about 6 or 7 cubic yards of trash and a dozen contractor bags on top of that. There's very little snow left on the property. Some down there by the leach field, and then the chronic sheltered snowbanks where the snow falls off the roof. So we've cut a couple of those left on either side of the steps here. But been cleaning up around here, folks. In fact, the landscape looks really different than it did just a couple weeks ago. So right here, instead of a giant pile of lumber, all we have left are these joists. See how there's no more garbage and no more giant piles of lumber on the other side of that trailer? Pretty much all cleared out. I finished that up this morning. Now moving on to clearing out the wood, the downed wood. So right now the tractor bucket's full of stumps that we pulled out a couple summers ago. That's a big brush pile from last summer. That's got to get gone. Where that timber is over there, there was a bunch of lumber. I moved that out of the way. And you can see my progress over here. This is the log pile and where all the lumber is gone. So it's kind of relegated to this end of the property. And there's my brush pile. So this is stuff I've been cleaning out from the side of the driveway, around the property. We've got several brush piles, and I'm just picking away at those. There's one back there behind the tractor. There's a really big one right here that I want to get rid of because it's right at the beginning. It's right when you pull into the house. And Vigo's very much waiting for me to play with him. Okay, we'll play in a minute. Well, the first step on working on the upper part of the wall is removing the thimble for the wood stove that we had in place earlier last year. And so Brian's going to remove that, and we'll hold on to it because we'll probably end up using it later on in the build. But we just got to kind of seal up that hole for now. And that also means taking out the rest of the chimney pieces from the outside of the house. But basically, just putting up the regular hardy backer board. So instead of going to the edge of the hardy backer board, you can see Brian's overlapping some of the drywall by about 4 or 5 inches, so he can continue the line from beneath it. And that way it looks a little bit more continuous all the way up the wall instead of it going in 4 or 5 inches. So now Brian's working on the grouting, or what do you call it?
Yeah, it's just regular mortar.
Regular mortar, but you
Brick mortar.
And you tinted it?
I did. We had some leftover tint from when we did countertops in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. So I put the whole bag in. Well, It was like a third of a bag. I
think that's going to help tie in the color because the wall's so dark in comparison to the stone on the down here.
I covered up our wire with some foam.
Oh, okay.
And so it won't make a thick layer. And then if we ever had to break it out for some reason, it's just a thin layer with a chisel would come out pretty easily, I think.
Mm-hmm. So here's how the finished wall. So I guess we still have our yellow connector hose there, but going with those yellow gloves I'm drying out. But anyway, so also this week Brian finished up the upper part of the stone accent wall here. So all coming together, looking really good. Another nice spring project to do when your weather turns bad. Although it looks like it's not so bad outside right now, but
I'm hoping this doesn't stain the bricks. Might have to
just put a layer all over the whole thing.
Yeah. It's high tech.
Yeah.
You know, marker, highlighter.
Highlighter is good for something.
And still a little bit of cleanup left to do. I think we'll go back over those stones and do a little scrubbing and maybe create kind of like a marbled finish. So the wall looking really nice there, and then we'll clean up those stones a little bit more later. Part of our spring cleaning has been trying to clean out the car. Can only do so much on the outside right now because it's still pretty muddy out. We did get a new power sprayer though, so that's going to help keep the cars clean up here so we don't have to run to the car wash all the time. But I'm getting the Mini Cooper ready to sell. So I've been working on the inside, trying to do some detailing and cleaning. I gave it like the once over, but it pretty much needs the twice over and probably the thrice over because it's hard to keep it clean up in here with all of the dirt and everything. So if you guys know any Mini Cooper enthusiasts who enjoy these little fun vehicles, let them know we got a great little specimen for sale. Send them our way. But yeah, I got to do some more cleaning. I haven't really gotten to all of the mats and everything. I did a little bit of cleaning out here, but gonna get this ready and put it on the Craigslist or whatever. It's kind of sad to think that the Mini Cooper fun time's over, but it's been fun. It's been fun. It's had its moments. And Brian also did the rear brake pads on the Mini Cooper just yesterday. So getting some outside work done while we can, while the getting's good. The bees are doing fantastic. They are finally bringing in pollen. I think it's 2 weeks earlier this year than it was last year, which is very interesting. You'd think maybe with all the snow that we wouldn't have pollen so early, but I think more moisture is encouraging the plants to bloom a little sooner. In fact, I wanted to check out the garden and I saw the rhubarb plant was already coming up. So it got me kind of excited to see some of the plants already emerging out of the garden from last year. Brian's done a little bit of backfilling in some of the trenches. He's going to do some more of that, but he just got a little head start and some grading on the driveway. So you can see there's some patches of stumps, sticks, logs, fallen trees. This is all got to get picked up as well, cleaned up around here. This is what we've been up to, folks. So here I'm getting ready to take this load out to my brush pile. I filled up the tractor bucket full of stumps that were on the side of the driveway into the woods there, and I got a couple of scraps from the beam when we were doing all of the timber frame cutting earlier this summer. So just getting stuff out of the way, moving things out of the way. Well, folks, here's my dumping grounds. So trying to keep some order, putting bigger beams and lumber on this pile, some scrap wood over here. We've got the log pile, all of the scrap lumber from the hillside, and then we've got all of the brush and the scrub in a couple piles. One's more like logs and one's more just like rough branches. So this is down here by the leach field, and the last little patch of snow that Vigo's trying to savor before it all melts. But anyway, this is where everything's been going, and just trying to keep it out of the way. This is definitely the further edge of the property, right by the woods here. We still actually have another acre to our property into the woods here, and it includes a couple of giant rock piles. But for now, this is where everything's gonna go. Suddenly the sky opened up and we received hail. So in the blink of an eye, a beautiful day up in the mountains, especially in the spring, you can get severe hail in just a couple of hours when your morning starts off beautiful. So we really enjoy and try to take the advantage of the time that we can when the weather's really nice. We're about ready for 5 months of beautiful weather, but you know, sometimes you get this hail and it kind of pushes you back inside. So we'll have to pick up some of our projects later on this week. But definitely stay tuned, because I want to show you guys what I'm doing as a creative solution to a lot of the brush piles. I know you can get them chipped up. I know you can do some composting with them, but I'm doing sort of like a natural fence. I'm going to do a video on a natural fence using our scrap brush pile later on this week. So stay tuned for that. And we also want to wish you guys a happy Easter. I know this video is going to go out on Easter, so want to wish you guys a happy Easter and beautiful spring. So, you know, we have the beginnings of spring, and now it looks like it's kind of snowing again, but it's kind of like this pellet-sized hail. Maybe more like the size of a pea, but it's white instead of ice. So I don't know what you want to call that, if it's hail or just pellet snow. Anyway, that's what's going on over here at Colorado Mountain Living, guys. We will catch you next time. All right, take care. Bye-bye.